Hey guys, it's your girl Just Bree. 5:30 in the morning. Who's up with me this early? I don't know, but since I'm up, don't seem like I'm going back to sleep anytime soon. Excuse me. I wanted to just give my little commentary on this video about this pastor, because this is crazy. I'm trying to find okay, this should be an unedited or just the
See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John Nick. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your product. I'm not worth your Gucci. Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you, Deacon, it is not with respect and want. I'm saying it because I want you to.
first of all, I mean, I don't know whether to laugh or just like, I mean, because it's between laughable and so damn narcissistic. Like, what the hell? A part of me is just like, this shit is not funny. And I know I'm cussing on the church video, but let me just say, like, I grew up in church. I grew up Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, right? My pastor growing up, he owned houses. He was a landlord. And prior to that, he worked. He had 9 kids with his wife. Um, I just always known him to be a working man. Like, he wasn't, uber fancy or nothing like that. I think they had a nice car. I don't know if it was a Lincoln or a Cadillac, something. But and by the time I came of age, he was already like 60 something. You know what I'm saying? So he was an older man, close to retirement. So hell, he should have some nice things. Um, and they lived in this house. I used to always drive past the house, and I just love seeing that house. Even to this day, like, he's long gone. But they lived in this one house, 2-story house, nice house, nice little neighborhood and everything. But still in the city, in the hood, really. But I mean, hell, our mayor lives in the hood. So it's just this is just crazy to me. Um I haven't had many pastors. I mean, I've visited, quite a few churches. So, through the years and just through fellowship and things of that nature. And so, one of my other pastors, I loved me. He was so sweet. I loved him so dearly. Pastor Pryor and his wife, beautiful people. I mean, they were just common people. And I missed them. They were such sweethearts. I mean, I have not. I guess I've heard some things, but I ain't heard nothing. I ain't heard nothing like this in a minute. Like, excuse me, sir. It's bad enough you already giving me a LGBT vibe already, and you supposed to be married. It's bad enough. I already picked up that vibe, nigga. And I mean, over my 30 for almost 30 plus years of growing up going to church, I ain't never. I don't know what the hell I would have did sitting in his congregation. I think I would have just been so aghast, like, did this nigga just say what I thought he said? Child. And what kills me is the ironic part is these so-called liberal democratic socialist people, they so anti-Christ, anti-Christianity. Um, if anybody doesn't, well, let me just say this. I'll say it like this. Jesus was the most socialist person you probably could ever meet when it came down to sharing. And so what I learned was the difference between I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I guess it's not for the government to be socialist as much as it is for the people to be, according to Christ, to be willing to share and give to your community, like how the Bible speaks about taking care of the widow, and things like that. That's for us to do. And that's what people get twisted about the government, but that's a whole other debacle. But let's continue on here with the good pastor got to say.
To understand just what God is saying. I even found out that movado, you can buy a movado watch in Sam's.
Now, I really want to go to Sam's and find out about this movado watch now. I might have to Google this. Let's Google it in a minute if I remember. Because I got a brain of an ant. But Movado watch and Sam's? Like, excuse me, sir. First of all, I don't even really wear jewelry. I barely wear earrings because I'm just that damn cute. No, I'm just kidding. But and I ain't worn a watch in. My dad actually had bought me a watch shit, about 13 years ago. I really don't wear jewelry at all. I have a ring. I might wear a bracelet, one little necklace, and some earrings. You know what I'm saying? Um, Especially now that I've gotten a bit older. So, but this whole watch thing he caught up on is just amazing.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick.
I don't even know. Okay. So, and here's my opinion on this. I'm not even opposed to him. I would, now I said this in the comment section too. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I wouldn't even be opposed, and just years from having years of experience going to church, being in church, being a part of church, you know, I'm not even opposed to him calling out the members for, not doing enough in the community, for, you know what I'm saying, for bad spending habits, talking about finances, maybe bringing a professional in to speak to people about how to invest your money, how to spend your money. They should have workshops like that. But this right here, what he talking about how he wanted a Movado watch and they didn't buy it. Sir, what does that have to do with your sermon? and granted, this is all chopped and screwed, so we don't know the sermon. It is out of context. I will say that, but at the same time, it's in context because you can't split that up. What he said about the movado watch, and I'm not even opposed to blessing a pastor financially. Like, we've done anniversary, birthday, and I delight in stuff like that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. The Bible say be a cheerful giver, and I've never went without when I gave from my heart. And, because I could tell you, on the few times that a couple of times where, I mean, God forbid, Lord forgive me. Every day is a blessing I wake up. But and I haven't been obedient for quite a while now. What I consider to be obedient, what I believe God, what I should be doing. So that's not, that's neither here nor there, but just my personal thing. I've still received many, many blessings, but things that I noticed when I did do when I gave certain things, especially how quick God had, you know, did something for me. Um, just I guess for example, what I'm saying is like I had Ty one time, and I mean it's been many other things. Um, and when I tell you that money came back like double, like literally within that same week, and I'm not even joking. So, and I mean, other things have happened, minus the tithing, minus the giving, offering, you know, any of that. But I'm just saying, it's just one time that really like sticks out in my mind where I literally had dedicated in my heart that I was gonna give a certain amount over and above, and the thing that happened next was just like kind of mind blowing. So anyway, um, that's just my personal experience. But this right here, like I said, and I know I kind of went off topic. Um, I'm not even against a pastor, having a salary. Um, so and then you can buy whatever the hell you want to buy. But don't why you gotta stand up here in the pulpit talking about a specific thing that you didn't get? Why like you whining and bitching about a watch to your parishioners when you have a wife? If you just want a gift, nigga, please. And look at this fool. Look how he's sitting. He all cucked. They all a bunch of cucks.
Down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters.
Child, we got to go see the apology soon now. He on an apology tour. His cheap sons and daughters. What a hot mess. So, let's read a couple of comments. Vespian says, what a great analogy for the attitude of the protected class. Greed is the devil's back door, says Enrique. Bridget Daniels says, the bad part of this video is the people in the background calling on Jesus and telling him to come on like he is correct. Nowhere in the Bible you see Jesus talking about material things to the people that he came to save and what they should be buying. Pastor, you're in the wrong. You are in it for the wrong reasons. God never called you to belittle His people, and watching this is the true definition of disgusting, disgusting, and more disgusting. Um. So yeah, about um, and people really use that as an excuse not to follow Christ. And when the way this man is talking, I mean, first of all, he don't represent Christ. Second of all, people use that as an excuse because they don't even read the Bible. They've never picked it up, never been to a Sunday school, never been to a Bible study. Like, what are you talking about? But I digress. Diane Dixon says, if you can get it at Sam Club, why don't you go and get one? I know that's right, girl. Ceci M says, oh, if he does not repent and change his ways, God has something for him. And this man have it all twisted. The tithes are not for him, but the welfare of the church kingdom, not your corrupt. Cindy Lil said, tax the church. Girl, I am not mad at you. What I wanted to find was the video, the comment section for, because this happened in Kansas. So let's find. I wanted to read the comment section from the Kansas Defender. Okay. And then.
See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted.
And then we'll listen to his apology. So I just commented this. Basically I said the same thing. KK says, y'all can't afford it no house, says the man begging for a movado watch. Rain Savage said he's one of the thieves that had his table flipped by Jesus. Casey says any person who stays under his leadership is a fool. Blacklight says when people show you are, believe them. Elena says the Bible warns of false prophets. This is so funny. As Jesus said in John chapter 3, verse 16, I ain't worth your Louis Vuitton. That had me cracking up. And the thing about it's not funny, but I can't help. This is crazy. This is crazy. Ketwana said the nerve of the congregation egging him on. Hell is gonna be full of these characters. Oh, Chris Burns said, I'm tired of this church. Most people come to church to be built up, not torn down. And let me just say this too. Like growing up in church, I'm not saying obviously I don't know it all. But I will say, I've seen a lot, I learned a lot. At this moment I am not attending nobody church. I have not attended church since the beginning of the pandemic. For and not attending church is not the same as me not watching religious material. But you know, it's hard when you especially growing up under a pastor. I mean, church is just it, church is entertainment and a social hour for most people. I came up in church and everybody may not, everybody don't agree with this, and I'm not saying it actually take all of this to, you know, to be saved or anything like that, but I come from carrying on the altar, fasting, um, you know, things like that. Um, Going to church, going to Bible study, Friday night service, Sunday day, Sunday in the evening, and I'm not saying that saves anybody because you have to have it in your heart. In your heart, you can go to church 50, 11 times a week, and and because there's plenty of people who do, but they do not know Jesus. So I'm not saying that that's what it necessarily takes to even become a believer, because the person that, you know, according to my beliefs and what I understand of the Bible, like I could get, God forbid, shot today or tomorrow. If I'm not saved and I cry out to the Lord Jesus before I take my last breath, He said, I get to go. I get to go with Him. So, just like the who was it, the thief on the cross next to Him, who was a sinner and cried out at the last hour. So that's just my beliefs. What B says, boy, sit your $5 ass down before we make change. Why is she co-signing him? Must be his first lady. Not to mention his little sweet tart self. I was thinking the same thing. Why is she hollering like the Spirit of God is moving? Jesus, help us, Lord. And you're calling the congregation poor. You're the one up there begging. He said, "Black folk, come on now, seriously, seriously." Um, I don't think it's just a black thing. Back in the day, if you was born or was seeing any part of the 80s and 90s, like we had all kinds of white televangelists. I can't name them all, but I know some faces. That one crazy looking guy. It's a couple of them. It's a few of them. So, and he needs to get a job. Maxine Will says he must be the poor, broke, disgusted, busted because he can't even buy his own watch. And again, like I said, you know,
See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me.
it's one thing to sit up there and chastise
See
your
that?
church about material
I just
things
took a DNA test. Turns out
as opposed to them, you know, giving from their heart willingly. I am not opposed to someone, offering up donations or whatever with their own money, right? And if that's something that they feel like God told them to do, I don't support taking advantage of people. And to be honest, the more I learn about tithing and the fact that it's Old Testament, that's not something I'm necessarily a fan of any longer either. But, in my opinion, leaders gonna be responsible for that. I'm teaching that practice. Um, so again, this is a conversation for people who have actually gone to church and spent, a good amount of time in church. I mean, you can come in here in the comment section and argue with yourself. I particularly don't practice that. If you want to have a conversation, we can. Um, but I'm Charles. I don't know what to type in here. Broke pastor. Broke pastor, Kansas. So I mean, because you get some people that just come and rant and rave because they hate Christianity. Listen, that's your business. I'm not here to convince you of anything, because that's not my platform or anything like that. So, let's get into the apology, and let me say
The
this:
$6 your way
as a Christian, that is not
deal at Burger
necessarily
King is a triple win.
practicing
Your
at the
choice of a
time.
bacon double
So if I
cheeseburger
had
or
to
a
choose
rodeo
a
double cheeseburger, win. Plus fries, win.
as a
And chicken fries.
Christian, um, he's not asking for my forgiveness, but I forgive him. I hope that he repents for his own sake. And desires more to life than a damn Movado watch. Nigga, what? I'm still confused about this Movado watch. Like, why is he so hung up on this? What is it about this watch that you just really could not buy on your own? And that you had to bring that to church. Like, that was really sitting on this man hurt. He apparently he made it. I was sitting up here talking and had to mute the damn thing, child. I was saying, what the hell was I saying? Oh, if you just want to come in here and rant about Christianity, by all means, knock yourself out. I'm not gonna engage. Um, I mean, I would prefer, if you do comment that you have at least had some interaction in the church. You know what I'm saying? Because people just like to go off on the church without having been to the church or opening up a Bible. Some people base all their, you know, they base their whatever critique or whatever off of televangelists and people that they see on TV, and not the actual people that are in the hood in the church doing the work. So I don't really prefer to engage in that type of conversation. Um, like I said, I grew up where, my pastor worked. He was a landlord. I'll never forget one of his sons who became a pastor as well. I never saw him in nothing. I mean, child, he was always working. Work, work, work. Um, that's a whole other story. So anyway, let's hear the
Win.
apology. Oh, and I don't know if I caught this as well. So like as a Christian, I forgive this man, not that he's asking for my forgiveness. Um, I would never sit up under him unless he has some, enough time. He needs some years for me to even entertain stepping foot in his church. If I ever had the opportunity, he would have to, um, have some experience, because it seems like this is fairly new for him, a new position, because anybody can just walk in a church or go to a building, whatever, and start a church. It ain't a lot of qualifications, especially when you're calling yourself a what is it, the guy from New York City with the Gucci. I don't know where he got his bishopship and all that carrying on. A lot of these people don't have nobody over them. My pastor, technically he's non-denominational, but he wants to be um he's under the leadership of Church of God in Christ because, you know, I think he feels like he needs that leadership factor, or that um covering slash, you know, accountability factor. So a lot of these knuckleheads, they just start and ain't nobody over them, you know, where they have to go before uh somebody and be held accountable. Just like anything else, you know. It all right, let's get into the apology.
Good evening. My name is Carlton Funderburg. I'm the senior pastor of Church of the Well right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I want to take this moment to address the now viral video clip of me from a sermon given August the 7th.
Sorry about that, y'all.
2022. Though there is context behind the content of the clip, no context will suffice to explain the hurt and anguish caused by my words. I have spoken to those I am accountable to and have received their correction and instruction. I have also privately apologized to our church, who has extended their love and support to me. I'm privileged to do life with them. The video clip does not reflect my heart or my sentiments toward God's people, yet that's not discernible in the clip. Therefore, I offer.
And you know, I get it, and I give him grace. Because the clip is chopped up and it's not in context, but like I said, again, nobody can misinterpret that movado watch and your attitude and your tone towards your congregation. That's not how you talk to people of God. Or, you know, and I say people of God just because, you know, if you in a church and you looking for some direction, supposing somebody was there who really wanted to be saved and not just, you know, following you around like a little hush puppy. You really lost people, sir. And you will lose people if you don't straighten this out. You know, this is just too much. Oh, and I know you know who I want to hear. I can't wait to hear. Oh shoot, I forgot his name. Bishop. What's his name?
Offer this sincere apology
Because
to
I know
you
he gonna talk
today.
about it.
No context could erase the words I used. I apologize to all who have been hurt, angered, or in any way damaged by my words. The zeal of any presentation must be tempered with love and respect, and that was not displayed. I apologize to the church at large for any undue scrutiny I have subjected you to. I apologize to every preacher and pastor who must stand up under the controversy that I have caused. To those who know and love me, thank you for your support. To those who now know me, because of this video clip, I regret that your first impression of me is one of anger, hate, and resentment. My actions and my words are inexcusable. I offer no justification or defense. That moment was mishandled and mismanaged. I deeply regret this moment, and I solicit your prayers and your forgiveness as we grow forward. Thank you. God bless you. Go with God.
So yeah, it sounds good. I feel like it was very well written personally. Um, But again, like I said, his lust for things is not um it's not normal for a man of God. It's just not. And I know there'll be a lot of, obviously there's a lot of people who just feel like pastors are just out for the money, right? Um, but they also do a lot for the community, whether you agree or not. I mean, unless you out there and in the community knowing what they do, you just don't know. You a sideline person on the bench looking. Um, but there's a lot that goes on in the community that churches are responsible for. Just for example, I'm in Buffalo, New York, with the whole TOPS thing. Um, lots of churches have came out and supported and done all kinds of, you know, things. So, you know, that's that on that. I'm not gonna go back and forth about that. Because some people, like I said, they just want to hate the church to hate the church. I mean, it is what it is. So let's get into these couple of comments and then I'm gonna wrap this up. Um, oh shit, we already at 36 minutes. I didn't even think it was that long, Jeff. Jazz says the fact he had to read his prepared statement so intently shows the complete charlatan this character is. Shame on him. Robert McLeod. And let me just be clear, like I'm a real church girl. Like I said, I since a little girl, since I can remember, been in church the majority of my life. So, I feel very comfortable in commenting and saying the things that I'm saying, and that's not that, people have to agree or what have you. It's just that I don't like when people speak on things that they really don't know about. So, anyway. Robert McLeod says, anytime there's a sincere apology, it comes from the heart, not from the paper. Yeah, and I feel like, because I feel like when I have something to say, I can just say it off the cuff. I can say it off the top of my head. Like, I don't need. No, sometimes I do write stuff out, but, I mean, yeah, you could say that. Okay, sorry, I digress. It comes from the heart, not from the paper. The problem is you have too many people in leadership that haven't been properly discipled. Over God's people trying to lead the people. We all make mistakes, but this shows that someone was in the congregation recording this and wasn't feeling him and posted and put him on blast. Exactly. And that's why, you know, in today's society with cameras and stuff like that, like you have to be careful with your words. You never know who's watching. And if you're a real person with real integrity, you you won't get caught out there. Are we human? We make mistakes? Yeah, sure. Um, but his overall speech about this watch and people being broke and disgusted, like, dude, what is your problem for real? Not to mention, I mean, yeah, we in a recession technically. That don't mean nothing to God. But technically, you know, um, some people still are really hurting financially for one reason or another. So it doesn't behoove him to talk to people crazy like that. Now, I've taken, I've, when so there are times when my pastor has, convicted, his words have convicted me. Um, and I sit there and I take it because I know I'm wrong and out of order. But That's not what this is. That's not him saying, okay, um, don't spend you out here spending your money on XYZ, even though people can spend how they want to spend. But, saying, oh, you out there spending your money on Gucci, whatever, this, that, and the other, but you got a neighbor that might need you to do XYZ. Do you carry your neighbor to the store? Do you see a neighbor walking down the street with bags in her hands? Like me, one of the older black ladies in my neighborhood. That's how I met her. We became friends. I didn't know this lady. She was walking down the street with bags in her hands. And I, in my car, went up to her, asked her, did she need a ride? And I didn't care where she lived. And come to find out, she was only 2 blocks, 2 streets over from me. And we developed a friendship. That's the kind of correction I'm talking about. You know, do you ever, like my pastor preached one time, do you ever just go out of your way for people? Some people, and I'm not saying you do this all the time, but every now and then, somebody live across town. You can't take them. Oh, they live too far. This and that. You always, you never offer none of your services just because, you know. So there's plenty of times where I have went out of my way, not looking for a pat on the back. I don't care about none of that. But when my pastor said that, that convicted me. Me, you know. So I try not to use that as an excuse all the time. Now sometimes no, I'm not gonna take you across town if I don't feel like it. But then there are times where I say, okay, I really don't feel like doing this, but God. God is good to me, you know. Or or times when I'm like, you know what? Yeah, God is good. I want to do this. So that's not what this man is saying to these people. He talking about a damn watch. I gotta calm myself down, y'all. It's crazy. Um, Kimberly Ford says, "What an embarrassment! As a people, I've seen abuse after abuse from you leaders. I see our neighborhoods destroyed. Never seeing but a few that will go reach the hurting people. I don't see community centers for our youth. I don't see real estate investments, but gentrification of what is ours. I don't see tutors to help our youth. I do see a stage with actors that surely aren't doing what Yahshua did. I don't see the lame walking, the blind seeing, or the sick being healed. I see actors on the stage. What makes you think you deserve more than our Lord and Savior, who didn't have a place called home to lay his head? Look at your bloodstained hands. You have committed murder, turning hearts away from God because of your negligence, leading your sheep to slaughter. Words have power to give us life or death. Combat Blue says, this guy has issues. He seems to be in the wrong profession. Now I'm upset. I was laughing, but